Welcome to Between Two Pastries, a not-so-typical nutrition podcast. Nicole and Annie are licensed and registered dietitians. Join them as they discuss hot nutrition topics, challenge popular beliefs, and have a blast doing it. Here are your hosts, Nicole and Annie.
Welcome to Between Two Pastries. This is Nicole.
Hi everyone, it's Annie.
So here's the deal.
I don't know where she's going with this.
Yeah. So we get a ton of questions that people kind of want personalized answers for, but they ask in a way that you can't personalize it because
tell me more.
Because we're not working with you, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
So
I get that.
I'll get a lot of things
like,
what should I do here? What should I do here? What's considered, what's a healthy meal? Blah, 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 blah. These types of things. And I think that
people still think nutrition is just like this easy thing you can just pull out of thin air.
Well, and that's just the thing. And I think this conversation is provoked because of I just did a webinar today, and some of the questions that I was getting were just, I can't generalize them. Mm-hmm. I cannot first of all, I refuse to generalize them because I'm not serving the people correctly then.
Right.
It's very, very important that everybody's nutrition is so individualized.
Yep.
So we can give general ideas as, which we talk about all the time.
Fruits and vegetables.
Again, basic physiology stuff of why you want to be doing this kind of a thing.
There's generalizations.
There's generalizations on those things, but when it comes down to like the actual what's, I think that's what's really important. Mm-hmm. The thing is that everybody is so individualized because everybody has different metabolic rates happening, different exercise or not exercising, different jobs, which take different energy levels, genetics, lifestyles in general,
if you didn't say
sleep cycles, life cycles, right? So age and the different life cycle. There are so many things that determine. So what I would say to a 12-year-old, I'm not going to say to a 40-year-old.
No.
Or I might, but I doubt it.
Right.
So our point is just that, because we've also been getting like requests for, we want specific things and certain nutrition stuff. And it's like, we can't. You can get that everywhere else because people don't care.
Because they don't care about your own
and they're willing to say, oh yeah, just do all of these things because that's what's right for everybody. No, it isn't actually. Not. And we're not going to put ourselves in that situation. Nope. So we want to serve you guys. Obviously, if you have requests, we want to be hearing them. And we also are being really sensitive, but also responsible.
Right.
That there isn't one thing that is for everyone.
Right. It is unethical for us to answer those questions on a pod of generalizations as saying that this is what you should do. When you see that stuff, that should be your red flag. That is not, that steer clear of that stuff.
Right, or anything that has some form of an algorithm where you throw in your weight and your height and your yada yada, and all of a sudden it seems to know you and it knows precisely what you need. Oh my gosh, no.
Steer clear of practitioners who do that.
That's right. So we want to make that clear because we're not trying to not give you guys things. That's not what we're not trying to not do something here, We're also trying to protect you and getting kind of into the goals of why we even wanted to do this podcast. We're doing it because we're trying to bring awareness to stuff that's out there that we wish wasn't out there.
Right.
Number one. We want to stop some of the confusion around so much of the mixed messaging and things like this, diet culture in general, and we're also trying to help people get more in tune to themselves, and that it's really, really important that we get aligned with ourselves.
Yep.
And not so focused on something outside of ourselves and what this something outside of ourselves is telling us.
Right.
What this algorithm and this app and this thing that I put in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's my truth right there. No, it is not.
It's not.
We're trying to tell you that. The other thing is we have gotten questions of, what is it like to actually work with a dietitian? And so that's the thing. Number one, nutrition is so personalized, and that's why it's so difficult that we have to treat everybody on a very individualized basis because there are so many little things.
Well, every client I have is different. Like every client's different, and every session consult is different.
Is different as well.
I use different questioning.
Yes.
With different, depending on, they may fill out the same initial questions.
Sure.
And then you get a feel for who you're working with, and when you start that conversation,
it opens up all kinds of
I'm approaching
things.
Consults different depending on it. You guys have to realize Nicole and I are doing medical nutrition therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is like working with it's like a therapist and a doctor in one.
Correct.
Right? But it's all focused on nutrition. Mm-hmm. So we are not just saying, oh, this is your height and your weight, so you need this many calories, and here you go. Here's your meal plan.
Correct.
No, we are literally talking about food-related behaviors, food-related reactions and actions and interactions, and how it relates to your mind, your brain, your heart, your everything,
your
food,
digestion.
Yes, there's so much
your
more.
Sleep, your
it's
exercise.
A therapy session. It is medical nutrition therapy that we are doing. So, yes, back in the olden days, maybe that's how nutrition consulting was. However, now, that it's not just home ec teachers that are teaching nutrition.
Right. And it's not about one way of thinking. And that is the thing. It's not one way of thinking. It's not, this is how you do it. It's okay, we know, like I said earlier, we know the physiology, and we are going to apply that physiology to everyone. However, everybody's body schedule functioning is a little different. So that means that has to be approached differently.
Correct.
And so that's why we can't say, for the most part, this is what you want to do.
Or plug in a computer.
But
here's height and weight, and here's your calorie amount. No,
it's not that way. And so,
it's a lot of conversation. It's a lot of therapy around food.
Right. But it's also understanding everything. What supplements are you on? Do you even know why you're on those supplements?
Right.
Are you on any medications? Were you on any medications? Do you have any other
Didn't your doctor
history?
tell you that, you weight gain occurs with Seroquel?
Sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Things like that the doctors did the dietitian at the hospital tell you about a low-fat diet with gallbladder surgery?
Correct.
What?
Right.
There's things too that if my doctor said it, therefore it's right.
Right.
And it's or if my app said it, therefore it's right. Well, no, not necessarily. There's a lot of interactions, and we go through a lot of school to get to the level we're at of being able to hear you say, well, I eat this way, and I'm this tall and this weight, and I take these meds and these supplements and all of this to be able to say, these are the interactions that are happening. Here's why your metabolism functions the way it functions.
Sure.
That's a lot. We are doing some magic there.
Absolutely.
At being able to link all of those things together. And I'm not just trying to toot dietitians' horns, but we're doing a lot,
we pull a lot of it together. Absolutely.
Yes. We have to know every avenue of medicine and disease states and science to link it all together.
That's correct. Yeah. And we have to understand all the life cycles. That's the thing too. So, if you have an ultra marathon runner that you're working with and they're in their 50s and all of a sudden it's a female and they're having some major hormone things.
Yeah,
so then they're experiencing X, Y, and Z. We have to change completely how they're eating, how they fuel, how they, to work with their body. And that's what this is all about. It's working with your specific body. And all of our bodies are a little different. And that's the thing. We're not boxed. We don't come with directions and a recipe for, that's not what it is. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And so, I guess the other thing in working with the dietitian, this is how we do it.
It's not just a one and done.
No, it's not. And that's the other thing.
Not a one and done.
And so, I've been seeing I have clients I have been seeing for years.
I bet, yeah.
And so whether they are coming in for a little maintenance check-in,
right,
little body check-in, you know.
Explain what that means, because you do, you do body fat testing.
Sure, yeah. So I'll do some body comp things, which can be helpful on some levels depending on what I'm working with,
right,
and that too we're careful with,
right.
And so I'll have people come in on a quarterly basis, or I have people who are just adamant about I'm coming in once a month, and they like it, because they say, every time I come in, I feel like it's like a reset to remind me,
of safety,
of like my own
confidence.
Like, these are the things that are important to me. Why am I not doing them?
Yep.
Or this life thing happened and it kind of threw me off.
Right.
Now we talk it through and then we learn a new skill to help them if that ever happens again. And
right. The time a dietitian is one and done or 3 sessions and that's it is because you're likely not accountable for what you're doing.
Correct.
Or you don't want to go. You haven't committed.
Right. Or you don't want to go too deep.
Right.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like,
right.
When I work with people, I'm getting in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So we get talking about a lot of things because we find that a lot of things are tied in with how we choose to fuel or not fuel ourselves.
Right. There's a lot of psyche in there.
Yeah. So that's why, and that's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy exchange in general. Mm-hmm. So for me, it can't be one and done unless someone just says, "Hey, can you just look over what I'm currently doing? This is how I'm feeling." Sure. I will say, though, that even situations like that, I'll go ahead and give some feedback. But a lot of times, if I'm seeing something, I've got to tell them, hey, listen, I think there's a few things going on. Mm-hmm. We might want to look at this a little more closely.
Well, I hate giving generalizations, too.
I do, too.
I hate that. I get that, too.
I do,
it's like,
too.
Can you just look at this? And it's like,
I don't think you realize I can look at it. I mean,
why do you want me to half-ass this?
Right.
Don't you actually want, if you want actual change, if that's what you're used to is half-assing things like that, just no, don't bother with that. Let's just sit down and do it.
Right. I agree. And it's not about, it's not about us even making a meal plan. First of all, I hate that.
No.
It's not even about that. No. I don't even know the last time I really did that.
I refuse to do it.
No. I mean, we do go through okay, this would be like what a typical day.
Well, meal planning, a meal plan is okay, but menus.
Not menus.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Absolutely not. No. The whole point is that you're being trained.
Right.
To take care of yourself.
Correct.
That's the concept.
Right. We're not doing it for you.
And what that looks like according to what you currently need.
Right.
Based on your current state in your life.
The other thing I think we get quite often is people want to know what we're eating.
Yes.
And you and I have had these conversations before, so many, all these people well, what do you eat? Because again, it's one thing to seek out ideas, and then in that case, I'll give you ideas.
Filled with ideas.
The internet is filled with ideas. However, knowing what I eat lends itself, it makes me believe people are just simply trying to, if I eat what Annie eats, therefore I will look and be like Annie.
Right.
And I don't like that, people. Just be you.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No, I'm me and you're you, and we can be both talented and we both look different and we should all look different.
Yes.
We're not cookie cuts of each other and that's not how it should be. So, and I've had patients challenge me who I've had on high calorie, meal plans before. Well, you should eat my meal plan. And I tell them, okay, let's trade for a day. I'm going to eat your meal plan and you eat mine. And then I describe
who has the most calories? Yes.
And I describe to them what I'm eating and they're like, oh. And they take it back. They're like, well, I gotta go to my therapy appointment now. I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. But it's true. You don't ever, eat what someone else eats or think that how you eat is right and therefore other people should eat it. We all eat differently, and that's the beauty of it.
That's right. That's right. But the thing about both Annie and I is that we fuel ourselves for what we need. And that includes like we eat potato chips. Yes. I mean, like we have a balance and a mix of things because that's important. We're not eating certain things, and
I eat a dessert every day.
Right. So,
okay.
So even if we told you what we eat in a day, you're
still probably going to freak out.
There's no secret there either. Like it's just food.
Right. And maybe people knowing what we eat feels like, well, you're a dietitian, therefore, you're going to say that you eat kale and salads, and that maybe that'll make me feel, obligated to eat that.
And maybe that's weird, could be true. Yeah.
Or, well, if they eat desserts, therefore I have permission to eat desserts.
Right.
No, you always have permission to eat everything. And you don't have to eat kale. Right. If you don't like it, don't eat it.
Well, and that's just it. And I think that was going to be my point. Annie and I have very different diets for very different reasons. But, I'm primarily vegan in general because I have a lot of, food allergies and whatnot. And I push those limits, to be honest. Well, I do because of the fact that I miss... I miss a lot of food, to tell you that. Like, I miss some texture. So my husband is luckily not allergic to anything. And so there are times where he makes things and I'm like, I want to try a bite of that. And it, and it's actually, I'm not, cheese is one of those things. I have this limit where I love cheese, but cheese does not love me.
Right. It only goes so far.
That's right. But if he gets a Jets pizza or something,
so good.
I can get away with maybe a couple bites without it bothering my stomach. And I'm going to do that.
Heck yeah.
If I can get away with a piece, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I really like that, Yep. But I mean, on a daily basis, I know for me, you have to look at what's important to you. For me, the foundation of my meals are vegetables, period. I eat so many vegetables, but I'm not eating it because I think I should. It's truly because I want to. I know what I feel. But I also, again, I'm virtually vegan. So it's like I have to consume.
As a vegan, that should be the premise of your
that's just
diet.
It, I mean, so that's going to be my foundation. And I have grains and I have potatoes and I crush up potato chips on my salad as croutons. That's what I like to do.
That's what I do when I'm out of croutons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are certain chips I really like that have different flavors. Yes.
I have no croutons. I'll use the pretzels.
So I love to crush those I love that because I like the flavor. I love the texture.
Salt on salad.
Yes. It really pulls it together.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Especially a ruffle.
Yeah.
It's a saltier.
Yeah, but, and again.
I know you and I have had conversations years ago about, like, even prior to me running to the level in which I run now, I've always been a carbohydrate eater.
Yeah.
I don't care for protein textures and stuff like that. Yeah. Protein's always been a struggle, but it's, I've never been, over under a weight, an uncomfortable weight. Really, I mean, through college, I think carbs is all I ate. Like, and I'm not saying carbs in a negative way. I'm saying my breakfast was yogurt and cereal, and my lunch was salad and oatmeal and beans, and dinner was beans and a sandwich, and it was primarily a carbohydrate based. As you look at the food pyramid options, my intake has always generally been more on the carb friendly side.
Sure.
But it doesn't need to impact your body.
Correct.
That's just it. Like, you can still be heavy on one type of food or another.
Sure.
Still get all the nutrition you need in general.
Yeah.
And still be of a healthful weight.
Yeah.
And health status.
Sure, absolutely.
It doesn't need to.
That's correct.
Be a deal.
That's absolutely correct. And I just want to make a case in point that there were two clients who came to me in a very short period of time together, which I thought was fascinating because it was similar things. They came to me in tears because their physician said they can't eat meat anymore and they have to eat vegetarian. They have to eat vegan because they had Because they had a high lipid level. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. First of all, there is absolutely, positively, 1000% no reason.
No, that doesn't even make sense from a physiology.
So no. Let's get back to understanding, what does that actually mean?
Doctors that instill fear.
I can't stand it. So it's like, no, what we need to do is let's look at what you're currently doing and let's see how we need to balance it. Because obviously that's just what we're doing. And that doesn't mean you're not eating meat, for heaven's sake.
No, there's that whole stupid movement of like, well, and okay, here, this is totally, this is like a total tangent, but like, you've got the vegetarian, vegan people all claiming that they reduce lipids. You have the paleo, keto people who are saying the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. Give me a freaking break. I'm so done with all of it.
Right. And so, thumbnail version is you will have amazing lipids if you consume a lot of fiber, you exercise, and you eat in balance.
Normal.
At any rate.
So from a dietary consult perspective, we have a lot of conversation. I would say most consults, like, that's an hour.
The initial is for sure an hour. Sometimes I've even gone over if it's been like a complex case.
Sure. My follow-ups are 15, 20 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour. It depends. It totally depends on the person. And I know, based on who I'm working with, when things might be, when
more or less.
Again, you start you have relationships with these people. Right. And so you want to know how they're doing.
Completely.
And with nutrition, it's not just about food. You're talking about, well, what the hell happened?
You're talking
with your
about home life. Yes, you are
Why
talking
is your kid
home life.
your kid's eating this way, and therefore you're eating this way? Or what's going on at work that caused you to blah, blah, blah. And your activity. Nutrition and health is a whole picture.
Yeah.
We have to tackle everything.
Yes.
So it's just like, it's not just, here's your height, here's your weight, here's your calories, eat this much protein, peace out.
Right. Or here's your macros.
Oh my God.
Another thing that is just so full of fallacy on it. It's just yeah, but that's the thing. And so that's why, long story short, this is why, you cannot generalize nutrition, and it's so personalized.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what we just wanted to try to share with you guys today.
My heart rate just went up. Thanks a lot.
Have questions you want to hear discussed on the show? Find us on Facebook or visit BetweenTwoPastries.com and drop us a line. Want to support the show? Find us on Patreon for exclusive content. If you love the show, find us on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review.